I'm now going to share with you a truly unforgettable story. A story of the love of a mother and a father for their desperately ill daughter, the love of two sisters, and the astonishing courage and determination of a little girl fighting for her life against staggering odds. This is Sarah's story.
We were just a normal family, having fun. And every day was like the other, but it was a happy time. Looking back, you don't realize how happy a time it was. Sarah had headaches in the morning and would throw up, but we put it down to nerves with starting JK. On the day that she got a really bad headache, I just sensed it was more than just a headache, and 4-year-olds don't get headaches that last that long and that severe. We took her to the Children's Hospital in London. They suggested we do a CT. That's when they came and told us the news. And then they said that they had already made arrangements to have her taken by ambulance to Sick Kids, and that they were waiting for us at Sick Kids.
She said it's more than we can deal with, and that we've already called Sick Kids, and we need you to go there right away.
What the doctors had seen on Sarah's CAT scan was shocking. She had a tumor the size of an orange growing in her brain. The medical team at Sick Kids in Toronto was ready when the family arrived. After consulting with Sarah's parents, the decision was made to operate immediately to discover if the tumor was indeed cancerous, and if possible, to remove it.
I met with Dr. Kulkarni. He told me that there would be surgery, that he would be the one doing the surgery, and he warned me that there was a possibility that she would not survive the surgery. That's kind of when it hit me that she could die today.
And I remember she just stood up and she just gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. And I remember thinking that could be like the last time I see her.
The surgeons worked 4 hours straight while the family anxiously waited for news. When the news came, it was devastating. The tumor was, in fact, cancerous. Despite their best efforts, the surgeons were only able to remove part of the tumor and had spent many hours simply trying to stop the bleeding. Unfortunately, that night, while she was recovering, Sarah's condition worsened dramatically.
He said Sarah's had an acute change in condition. And he said, we need to take part of her skull off to relieve the pressure, because he said if we don't, the pressure will just build and then her brain will swell and it will crush her brainstem and she'll stop breathing. So he said she needs to have more surgery right away. They took the entire left side of her skull off from the front all the way back and over her ear to allow the swelling to have somewhere to go.
Her brain continued to swell and the pressure continued to build. They warned us that it was only getting worse. We made the decision to call my sister in London and have them bring Jillian to come and say goodbye. I just kept thinking, please don't die tonight, because I just didn't want Jillian to miss her. In the morning, Sarah was still alive. So she held her sister's hand and she told her that she loved her and she said goodbye.
Miraculously, after Jillian's visit, Sarah began to improve and her condition stabilized. But she still had a deadly cancerous tumor on her brain. Something had to be done. That day, the Smiths again met with renowned surgeon, Dr. Kulkarni.
I was still very worried at the amount of injury that there was to the surrounding brain, and it was still unpredictable whether Sarah was going to come out of this. That was probably my biggest concern at that stage, that if she was going to survive, would it be in a state that where she would have some quality of life and be able to interact with her family and her sister.
I said you wouldn't offer to do this if you didn't think there was a chance it would work. And he said no, that I wouldn't take you on a fool's errand, but he said it would, the most likely outcome of the surgery is that she would die during surgery. And he had said the other thing we needed to consider was that she may survive the operation but be totally incapacitated due to brain damage.
The thought of their beautiful daughter being paralyzed or unable to speak was devastating. But the Smiths knew that removing the tumor, however risky, was Sarah's only hope for survival. The operation lasted 8 hours, and when Dr. Kulkarni came to see them, they finally got their first shred of good news.
He said, the surgery went better than I thought. It was just such a big relief to hear those words. And then right away, the first thing that pops into your head is we just wanted to see her. We wanted to touch her and hold her and see that she was okay.
Sarah survived the operation, but not without consequences. The surgery left her with paralysis on her right side, partial loss of vision, speech, and learning impairment. And she wasn't out of the woods yet. Over the course of the next year, Sarah underwent 8 more surgical procedures, a bone marrow transplant, and intensive chemotherapy. Sometimes her sister, Jillian, would not be able to see her for long periods.
It's been 2 weeks and I've seen her, and I can't wait to see her. Yay, Jillian! I met you, Jillian. I liked it. Yeah. I'm so excited to see you. Me too. I met you. You too? Yeah, she's happy. So, how are you? Yeah, that's okay though. You met me? Yeah, me too.
I wish I could tell you that Sarah's story ends here on a happy note. But the truth is that shortly after she left Sick Kids, Sarah's cancer returned. In fact, in the last 4 years, Sarah has had 2 recurrences, each one more dangerous and more debilitating than the last.
I try not to think too much about Sarah's future because it's too scary to think about that. I hope that she grows up and is happy, but I also have to accept that we might have a limited time with Sarah, and we just have to be happy for what we get and make the most of it.
She's very special, so I'm really lucky to have her as a sister.
Sarah's future is very tenuous right now, but we don't know what's going to happen in the field of cancer research. If the researchers don't have the funding, children like Sarah are just going to keep dying from cancer, and the problem's just going to get worse and worse, not better.